Hello, my name is Matt Russell. This is my final project for CIS 610, final project presentation for CIS 610, titled Tracking the Impact of COVID-19 on Kansas City's Population and Economy. Um, so diving right into the problem, my project seeks to aggregate and visualize the coronavirus disease data as it relates to the Kansas City area. This includes how the virus spreads throughout the community, the impact it has on the local healthcare system, and the local economy. The um, Problems with accessing this data lied in Kansas City or Kansas and Missouri really aren't doing a great job compared to some other states at making data available for public consumption, public visualization, et cetera, analysis at large, I suppose. States like Hawaii, California, making that data pretty easy to get. They actually have CSVs available directly through the state governments, but Kansas and Missouri haven't done that. So I had to go to kind of third-party data to access that, which ended up being okay, and I made it work pretty well, as we'll get to. So the information systems and methods that I ended up using are my SQL to store some data, Python with Pandas to actually analyze the data, Matplotlib to visualize it, and then Microsoft Office to prepare like this, for instance, this part of the presentation. But it actually wasn't used in the information system itself, in the project itself. So moving right into the ethical implications, risk and security assessment. Overall low risk for this. Uh, Due primarily to, we're using local servers. I mean, I'm using my own servers here for the SQL, so there's no risk of data being lost in transmission or anything. Everything's password protected and encrypted. All the data that I'm using anyways is publicly available, so I'm not using any sensitive data. Everything was from public websites, public CSVs, etc. And so even if, all my data got compromised, my database was breached by, um, a hacker, or I lost it, all that data is just available elsewhere, so to the general public. So it's not like they're getting social security numbers of people or anything like that. Finally, all of my software is open source. So, all like MySQL, Python, those are all open source languages and applications, so we can see exactly what's going on under the hood, which is good for security and stuff like that. So some of my data sources included the New York Times, the Center for Disease Control, Johns Hopkins University, um, etc. Again, the states of Kansas and Missouri really didn't provide that good of data, but these did. So Center for Disease Control, I really use this for time series data, specifically for getting like a frame of reference for other countries. Um, I use Johns Hopkins University data for for actually getting specific local data for specific counties um, in Kansas and Missouri. If we see over the admin two, that actually what that really means for my purposes is the county. So I can grab the counties that correlate to um, Kansas City, Missouri, right there. For Kansas City, Missouri, that includes like Jackson County, Wyandotte, different counties like that. If we really want to get to the Kansas City metro, um, so again, this is partially time series data, but I also just use this to aggregate a dictionary of like what what counties actually qualify as Kansas City Metro, etc. And so I just wanted to kind of show these different data frames to show what I was working with, and I give you a picture into the type of data that I was receiving. So this is a very, very basic information system design just to show kind of the very basics of what I was doing. I was importing CSVs from the web and REST APIs into a MySQL database, which then put the which then was accessed by a Python application, which then created the results in the visualizations. So pretty simple right there, but I'm proud of it. It's the first time I've ever created a system like this, or anything remotely similar to this. So it works for me, and I'm proud of it. Like I said, database design. I'm actually still working on the final database design in MySQL Workbench. I know that you can create a official design from the database or from the Workbench itself, but I tried to create it in Microsoft Word, and that ended up taking a long time. So here's a little sample of what I got through. But for the final project, I'm gonna have the actual ERD provided by Microsoft's or by the MySQL Workbench, excuse me. But here we've got mortality data um, with the county ID as the actual key, and then um, over here we've got a log, and the log is really just to actually show when the data was updated, and so it can show who generated it, which user, etc. Moving on. So data cleaning and wrangling, I used, again, Pandas, NumPy, and then some of the big challenges were aggregating Kansas and Missouri health and economic data. And I really just wanted to group it with other similar data for comparison, to show kind of what's a good outcome, what's a bad outcome, etc. And this really did take a lot of my time getting the data, cleaned, wrangled, and in shape for actually visualizing it and reporting on it, and for use in my various systems. Because obviously, before it gets plugged into the systems, it has to be cleaned, formatted, and just kind of programized so that it can actually work well with the system. On to my conclusions for my data analysis and visualizations. Those are still ongoing. I submitted my code for the data analysis and visualizations this past Sunday for that deliverable, and the professors gave me a few different recommendations and pieces of feedback that I'm working on incorporating now. So I am still working on those. For instance, I did visualize a few different countries over here, but I'm going to work the Kansas City, Missouri, and the state of Kansas, the state of Missouri into that. I'm then going to shade those other countries, gray, and then make Kansas City, Missouri, the only color that sticks out other than Kansas and Missouri, so that you can really tell how they did per capita compared to other countries, other states, etc. But I'm still working on implementing those. So at this point, I am just working on those, and those are ongoing. So finally, my experience in the course, my overall experience in the course and in the overall degree, I have really enjoyed and appreciated this, all the classes and whatnot that have gone along with this degree and with this course as well, all the modules. I've learned a lot about business data analysis in general. I consider myself very proficient in SQL at this point, and a lesser amount of proficiency for Python at this point. There's just so much to learn and so much to do there, but we're specifically in the Pandas library, I'm getting very proficient at that and learning about that. The reason that I wrote down business data analysis here is obviously because that is the title of the degree itself, and I do feel like I learned a lot regarding business data analysis in general, kind of what managers are looking for, what stakeholders are looking for, and then the overall project management of it all. This degree really gave me a look into what I need to start, what I need to do regarding the overall timelines, etc. And then my favorite course was operations management. I know it's a very sort of dry sounding course, but I really loved it, and it really spoke to me. I enjoy making or increasing like efficiency of different processes and looking at what we can do to really just optimize various operations in a company or in an organization, and so that really spoke to me. But overall, this has been a really great degree and a really great course, and I learned a lot from it. It's been very challenging as well, uh, particularly again the Python, the coding aspect of it, but I've really appreciated it, and those challenges are, why it's a master's program. So thank you very much for watching this, and have a great day. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Bye bye.